There's a war happening every day inside your mind. And most people are losing. Not because they lack intelligence. Not because they don't want more. But because they never dared to believe they deserve more. You will never rise above the image you hold of yourself. And the world, it doesn't give you what you beg for. It gives you what you believe you're worthy of. Billionaires don't just think differently. They live in a different realm of belief. They don't wait for permission. They command outcomes with vision so vivid, the universe can't ignore it. This isn't about money. It's about identity. Because until you rewire the architecture of your mind, until you demolish the small thinking, the generational fear, the mediocre self-worth, you'll keep living below your potential, applauding others from the sidelines, wondering when your turn will come. Let me tell you now, it won't come until you claim it. You were not born to be average. You were not born to shrink. You were born to build, to become, to conquer. But first you must think like a billionaire. And act like you already deserve every bit of what you seek. Mindset and belief. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." Now pause and consider what that really means. That your entire life, every failure, every success, it begins with a thought. The billionaire's mind doesn't entertain limitation. It's allergic to excuses. It looks at walls and sees doors. It sees failure not as a sign to stop, but a signal to refine. When Thomas Edison was asked how it felt to fail 1,000 times, he replied, "I didn't fail. I found 1,000 ways that wouldn't work." That's not just optimism, that's a weaponized belief system. One that refuses to accept defeat as final. One that sees obstacles as data. One that rewrites reality by refusing to bow to the current one. That's the mindset you need. Not because it's poetic, but because it's practical. Because the world doesn't give out rewards for playing small. It gives them to those who decide that certainty will outlast fear. Billionaires don't hope to win. They expect it. Clarity and vision. What do you see when you close your eyes? Is it a vague wish, a foggy dream, or is it crystal clarity, sharp enough to pierce through doubt? Andrew Carnegie didn't rise from a dirt floor to become the richest man of his time by accident. He decided early who he would become. And then he organized every thought, every minute, every breath around that outcome. Clarity is the birthplace of power. Vague goals produce vague results. But a mind locked onto a specific vision becomes magnetic. It starts attracting the people, opportunities, and ideas necessary to manifest it. You don't need to know how yet. You need to know what. With obsessive precision. Disney saw Disneyland in his mind before it was ever built. He walked through it, smelled the popcorn, heard the laughter when it was nothing but dirt. That's vision. That's the kind of mental blueprint billionaires carry in their pocket. And if your dream isn't that vivid, that emotional, that detailed, it's not a vision. It's just a wish. Purpose and identity. The question is not, what do I want to do? The question is, who do I need to become? Your future will rise or fall not on your goals, but on your identity. When you become the kind of person who commands wealth, discipline, influence, the results are just a byproduct. They're inevitable. Most people chase outcomes while ignoring the source, themselves. But billionaires don't chase results. They engineer themselves to become the kind of person who naturally produces those results. Purpose isn't found, it's declared. It's when you look at your pain, your passion, your past, and decide to assign meaning to it. The Wright brothers didn't have funding, fame, or backing. They had fire. They had a reason that burned hot enough to melt doubt. Your purpose is the fuel that outlasts fatigue. When you find it or forge it, you tap into something deeper than motivation. You access a well of energy most people never touch in their entire lives. Discipline and action. Let us be clear, belief without action is delusion. You can visualize all day, write affirmations until your hand cramps, but if you don't act, nothing changes. Discipline is the bridge between your vision and your reality. Billionaires don't rely on feeling like it. They decide once and execute daily. You want results, you want the life you see in your mind, then understand this: discipline is not punishment. It is power. It is self-respect in motion. It is a daily declaration that says, I will not abandon myself today. Look at any empire and you will find behind it a man or woman who chose routines over excuses. Early mornings. Focused evenings. Sacrifices no one applauded. Hours no one saw. That's the part they don't show on highlight reels: the grit, the grind, the days when nothing seems to move, but they keep going anyway. Because discipline is what turns temporary motivation into permanent transformation. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your discipline. And that level, it's revealed in silence, in solitude, in the moments when quitting would be easier, but your standard won't allow it. Think of Rockefeller, who built the world's largest fortune not through chaos, but through control. Control of his thoughts. Control of his focus. Control of his habits. While others were scattered, he was structured. While others reacted, he anticipated. That's the edge. Billionaire thinking is not chaotic ambition, it's controlled intensity. Resilience and adaptability. Life will hit you. It will test every belief you claim to hold. And it won't ask for permission. But here's the truth: every setback carries a question. Will you rise or retreat? Resilience is not given, it's forged, in failure, in loss, in nights when everything inside you says stop and you answer, not yet. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than most people enter. He buried children, battled depression, was written off as a failure for decades. But he endured. And through that endurance, he rose higher than history could have imagined. Billionaire thinking is not the absence of struggle. It's the mastery of response. Adaptability is power. Because nothing stays the same, the markets change, people change, you change. And if you can't bend without breaking, if your identity is tied to one narrow outcome, you will collapse when conditions shift. But those who win, they evolve. They absorb pressure and convert it into progress. They pivot without panic. They get sharper, not smaller, under fire. The question is not, will life challenge me? It's, will I be ready when it does? Learning and growth. Let me be direct: if you are not learning, you are decaying. Stagnation is slow death in disguise. Every billionaire, every titan, every empire builder, they're not the smartest in the room. They're the most obsessed with growth. Warren Buffett reads 5 to 6 hours a day. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science. Oprah turned trauma into transformation by becoming a student of life. Ignorance is not a weakness. Staying ignorant is. Learning isn't something you do when it's convenient. It's something you do because your future depends on it. You must be hungry not for validation, not for applause, but for truth. For skill. For wisdom. You must consume ideas that challenge you, dismantle old beliefs, destroy your comfort zones. This is how a billionaire thinks: every day, I get sharper. Every failure, I extract data. Every interaction, I ask, what can I learn from this? If you can become a student of your struggle, a student of your setbacks, a student of your own mind, there is no ceiling to your rise. Gratitude and internal wealth. But don't confuse wealth with only what you can count. Because no external success is sustainable without internal abundance. Gratitude is not a soft skill. It's not a Hallmark card. It's a weapon, a sharpening of your emotional edge. It grounds you, centers you, keeps you anchored in power instead of pulled by fear. Most people focus on what's missing. They see lack. They breathe scarcity. And then they wonder why abundance avoids them. But a billionaire trains their lens. They focus on what's working, on what's possible. They find fuel in failure, progress in pain, gifts in the grind. Gratitude isn't about settling. It's about amplifying what you already have, so it multiplies. The mind that's rich in perspective will always find a way. And the heart that's rich in gratitude will never feel poor, no matter the balance sheet. Claiming your future. So here we are. No more theory. No more someday. Just you standing at the edge of who you've been. And who you're about to become. The gap between those two identities is not talent. It's not luck. It's not followers or funding or family. It's a decision. To think differently. To believe relentlessly. To act as if it's already yours. To carry yourself like your destiny depends on it, because it does. This is not a game for the passive. This is a game for the chosen. And the chosen are not appointed by others. They appoint themselves. Don't wait for permission. Don't ask if you're worthy. Don't seek signs. You are the sign. You are the miracle. You are the one. Think like a billionaire. Act like you already deserve it. And watch what happens next. Would you like me to continue or expand any specific section further, or would you like a cinematic direction guide for visuals, sound design, or pacing to match this voiceover?